Bob Sansevier here with John Shipley and Pioneer Pets W Sports Center. John Plume. Now, John, you'll be covering the Twins this year. Can they be this year's baseball's version of the Packers? Can they win it all?
Yeah, I don't know. They are in a lot of ways the same team they were last year. The big difference will be the infield. What they have Nishioka, and they're probably going to try to put Casilla there. More speed up front. That's really the only difference on this team. And then the bullpen is a major difference too, and they need to fill a lot of spots. And with the moves, I still think Chicago's a good team, and I still think Detroit's a good team.
Well, they both improved.
Yeah, and but the one thing Detroit was really missing was a catcher, and they went out and got a catcher. And so, I don't know. I think the Twins will be competitive. They're always competitive. They'll probably be there at the end, but they're going to have trouble winning the division, I think.
What's the latest word you've heard on Justin Morneau? I know they're leaving him to work out, but I mean that's not real promising.
I know. I talked to Billy Smith yesterday or the day before, and he said that he had talked to him and he seemed fine. And then John Powers talked to Morneau in Phoenix and said he felt great. So I don't see any reason that he won't show up on February 22nd. The question is, once he starts, the media is going to be all over it. We're going to be asking about him every day, and that's going to drive them crazy. And every time he sits down for a rest, we're all going to be like, what's wrong with him? So I think it's going to be a little bit of a circus. And then with Mauer, I think as well, people are going to be, I think he's still, when we talked to him last week, he's still strengthening his legs. He's not doing anything else. So, and they report in 10 days. So,
John, you, if you're the manager, Ron Gardenhire, do you go into spring training thinking that if you get Morneau, it's a bonus, or do you count on him?
I think you count on him being there. I do think they'll do with him what they did with Mauer last year. I don't think he's going to play very much. I don't think either one of those guys will see a lot of action in spring training just because they don't need to play. They don't need to play that much. I mean, Mauer's best season 2 years ago was when he didn't even participate in spring training because he was coming off the back surgery.
Morneau, though, hasn't played it'll be since July. So he's going to need.
Yeah, I still think they're not going to take any chances with him. I mean, I don't think you're going to put him out there and you're going to risk, playing him day after day after day and putting him in front of the media. And I think they're going to ease him back in.
Let me ask both of you this: is this a better team if Morneau can't play? If you start working, not every game, but you start putting Mauer at first to leave Kadire in right. I mean, do you have
if Morneau doesn't play?
If he doesn't play.
Well,
not every game, but I mean, is that an option that they can? They certainly can look to it. Will they though? Is that something they can do?
The problem is, and I don't want to, cast aspersions on Drew Botero, but the kid is not a very good hitter, and he's a great catcher. So if you're putting Mauer there, you're almost giving up a spot in the order. Whereas if you just DH
with
Mauer
Kadire there and cool,
I happen to be an advocate of moving Mauer. I think you need to. They're not going to do that this year. I frankly would, if they're not going to re-sign Kadire, I'd put him in right.
I mean, if Wilson Ramos was still here, I'd say make that move.
Yeah,
They got rid of him, so now they're kind of stuck with Butera.
Yeah, but I think Morneau will play. I think he'll be ready, and I think they're counting on him. Hey, tell you what, if Morneau doesn't play, they're not winning the division.
Well, the problem, though, is Morneau could play, but you always have to wonder game to game because it doesn't have to take getting hit or slide. I mean, a guy could hit him running to first, he could collide with him, and he could be jarred because obviously to have missed as much as he did, it was a serious brain injury.
Here's the thing with Morneau. If he can play the entire season, he's a legit MVP candidate. I mean, he's going to hit 30 or 40 home runs.
That's one significant-sized if.
He's going to drive in 130 runs. I mean, he's proven in the past he can do it, but the issue is 2 of the last 3 years or 3 of the last 4 years, the guy gets hurt. He's got incredible numbers at the midway point of the season. Like last year, I think he had 60 RBIs, 17 home runs, and he's hitting over 330.
So what you're saying is don't play him until after the All-Star break.
No, they need him to stay healthy, and that's why you take it easy on him in spring training and you ease him back.
Well, they are. They don't plan on using him in spring training.
Yeah,
they are definitely going to. Now, quickly, John. Joe Nathan, what's the reports on him? I mean, and is he the closer? I mean, what are they going to do with that? They're both back.
I think if he's healthy, he's the closer just because he's the Twins leader and he's got 240 something saves, and you defer to him, and the Caps is younger, and that's fine, and then you have a good setup guy and a closer. But when you talk to Joe, he's ready to go right now. But all players are. So
Sure
they're
they
going to be. They're going to be.
They're not going to say they're hurting. I mean,
Yeah.
keep in mind last year he needed to see if he could throw with in need of Tommy John surgery. He needed to be convinced that he couldn't do it.
Right.
So these guys are they can never. I mean, I don't think they could. In some ways, they cannot continue to perform unless they feel that they could. They have to be convinced they can do it.
And
whether
I
they
do
can or not.
believe Nathan when he says that he feels great.
Yeah.
But look, it took Liriano 2 years to come back. And the other thing is that in what Nathan keeps pointing to, what's his face, the Phillies closer. I can't remember. He had Tommy John. He came back and Billy Wagner.
Yeah.
But and so he says, I don't have to throw as much as a starter. But, and Gardenhire brought this up the other day, that's true, but a starter has 4 days to rest between. So what's going to happen,
You're not lobbing him in.
if you're only throwing, maybe you're only throwing 15 pitches, but you have to come back the next day. And so that might be a case where they use Caps and Nathan that way,
Yeah.
or one day and the other.
Well, this is certainly one we'll be keeping an eye on in the days, weeks, months, seasons, and eons ahead.
Next week.
Eons ahead.